Oops, we got canceled about an 8 a.m. meeting. And what are we going to do instead of ignore it and pretend it's not there? We're going to reopen the wound, talk about it again.
We're absolutely going to talk about how 40 million people utterly despised us.
So this week's episode of Demoted is about the ideal meeting time and how to set boundaries at work.
Demoted.
What's up, everyone? Your favorite beanbag baddies are back in this bitch.
Ross goes, I thought of something creative in the shower.
Yeah, as alliteration.
That was what he thought
That's
of.
what I thought of.
Beanbag baddies, we have been facing a bit of illness on the team.
We have.
I was COVID positive. Ross for sure had it, but he had some janky ass old tests.
Yeah, I know I had it.
Brain fog has been really bad. And I'm sorry, guys.
It's been bad.
It's been a tough, round of a couple episodes, but we are back.
We're back.
The beanbag bitches that you've known and loved are going to come out with a fiery episode today on meeting times. Which I know is what you guys have been
asked.
banging down our door for more info on meeting
Tell
times.
me about meeting times. Remember that time you talked about it and it went really well?
Yeah, totally.
That
worked
super well.
And we're ready to cry again.
And we're ready to cry again because we want to open up some wounds that just healed.
For all of you new motorheads, hi, welcome.
We love you.
We love you. Thank you for being here. Ross and I experienced a very fun thing when we first started the podcast, which was a cancellation.
Quick. Episode 2, we got canceled.
We were like, we're so excited to launch this podcast. Actually, wait, we might have to stop because we got canceled because we said we were reading a listener story and we said you should go into an 8 a.m. meeting that's once a quarter. And we made a social clip and it went viral for the absolute wrong reasons, saying that us two corporate bootlickers were promoting 8 a.m. meetings that you aren't getting compensated for outside of work hours, which wasn't the case at all. But we don't need to dive into that too deeply.
Yeah, it's what we do want to dive into is it has created, and it's funny that it's like actually affected entire corporate culture. Like the world has been asking this question. We've seen it in the Wall Street Journal. We've seen it in
I've done interviews.
Complex. You've done interviews about it.
Yeah.
Like what we're going to be talking about today is The Hustle, which is a newsletter, and they kind of put out a state of work. A few stats, which again, we know
you guys
crave,
love,
which is why we're bringing them back. But they asked the question, are 8 a.m. meetings okay? Or really what they asked was,
what is the best time for meetings?
Right. What's the best time? And they polled a bunch of people and got some information. And we are 100% sure that came from the ultra viral cancellation.
Because I think there were two schools of thought, and one was like, oh my God, of course what they're saying is totally fine, like an 8 a.m. meeting, whatever. And then there was one very heated group of people that were like, I will never do an 8 a.m. meeting. Yeah. Like that is a boundary and, no excuses. And so I think we're going to talk about some of the, like how people are feeling through this newsletter. We'll give some tips on like setting boundaries because there is some, there are ways to set boundaries and there are people who are being extremely overworked and
exploited even.
And like sometimes you're just in a job where that's just part of what you do. Like I have friends in private equity. I was just on a trip with them and they're working on the 4th of July, the 5th. They're holed up in their room. They barely got to like drink or leave their room. Yeah.
But they blow their nose with hundreds. So
totally. I mean, they're doing well.
It's kind of the price you pay.
Yeah. And I'm like, are you guys miserable? Like what's happening? They're like, totally. But we're going to be really, really rich. So that's okay.
Well, so you came from consulting though. And so what was the like?
Well, there's no like private equity upside in consulting. So I do think, like
more boundaries.
I think boundaries are great, but consulting is similarly like, especially if you're in audit at one of these big 4 firms, you have busy season, like tax season, and that gets really stressful, late nights in the office. I think in consulting, when you're staffed on projects, that becomes like, we have like four days, late nights, and you're always work from home on Fridays. And so it just depends. It's like, I used to travel on Sundays. We had a team in India. I would like work with them.
So you'd have calls like at random times.
We have calls at 9 p.m. I actually like led that team. And I was just like, okay, this is how it works, I guess. Totally. Like I'm the only one in America on this call. I kind of need to update them on what's going on, like on the client side. And I don't know. I never really questioned it. And I think now with COVID and work from home, we're forced to question things and think about like how important work-life balance is for us. Is remote work like an absolute requirement for you? Similar
boat. I just didn't question it. Like we had our morning stand-ups at 7:30 in the morning. Totally. I had to drive to Mountain View like an hour and a half to get there.
And the commute is another thing. I mean, I would fly on Sundays. You would commute every morning at like 7, right?
Before like the light came up.
Totally.
And I was like, this sucks. I was miserable. I was objectively miserable, but I was like, this is life now.
And now I'll admit it, like dead serious. I'm like, if I don't get to go to my workout classes before work, like I'm pissed. Like I have so many boundaries set. And it's because like I can't
even imagine.
remotely. Yeah.
Yeah, when I made that switch to Glassdoor and I was like, oh, my commute's 10 minutes instead of an hour and a half, and I can be in the office at 8, and our first meeting was 8:30. So most people would get in the office around 8. Of course, in sales, the difference is most meetings you have, when people say meetings, it's like a pit. Like you get a chance to basically talk to a potential client. Yeah. You want that. Like you're measured on how many meetings you run. So like if they say any time of day, you're like
great.
Done. You're like done. I mean, you're not like, great, I can't wait, but you're like, I need a meeting because I need an opportunity to pit. I need to sell someone.
And there's a big group of people who work East Coast hours in sales on the West Coast in a lot of jobs, but like you're actually just expected to be on at 6. Like if you, maybe you relocated to SF. I have a lot of friends that are like, but my job said, you still have to work East Coast hours. That's a real thing.
And a lot of them get done still at like 2:00.
Totally.
Right? And then they go do their thing and they're cool. And
yeah, absolutely.
Definitely do it.
So before we dive in, that was like a little bit of our personal experience, but let's just do a quick what's good. Sorry. That was kind of like, I'm going to Hawaii. I've been packing.
Yeah.
Sorry to pivot really quickly before we get into our fun stats, but just a quick like fun update.
Hawaii is really fun.
Like I'm so excited. I'm leaving tomorrow.
You're going to which island?
Kauai.
Oh.
I know.
Shit.
I know. So hopefully you'll see, all my thirst trap bikini posts.
We smash that like button.
Smash that
drool
fire,
face. Tongue emoji. Tongue emoji.
Totally. Yeah.
Yep.
So a lot going on there. And I was packing and my girlfriends and I were going for 4 days. And we just had the group text discussion of like, are we checking a bag?
Roommate trip.
Every single one of us. Of course we're checking.
You're 4 days, of course.
4 days, 3 nights. Do you think I would go with a carry-on?
I went to Portugal for 10 days with just a carry-on.
Of course you did. Did Becca as well?
Yes.
That's
how we roll.
Yeah, that's how you roll.
That's just how we roll.
My boyfriend's family, all carry-ons, Japan, 3 weeks. Yeah. And like 3 weeks, I'm literally going through the tiny like Japanese subway station. There's no way to I'm going through the oversized, truck loading
You're
zone.
the person who buys the little push carts at the airport because you got totally. 9 bags of luggage.
Like we had to buy extra seats on the train for my bag because it wouldn't fit in the overhead. Like absurd.
And what are these? What does your bag weigh? Are you paying the extra overload price?
60 pounds, no less.
How many pairs of shoes?
I have like 20 heavy tags on my bag because it just
there's just tape.
It's just all like red tape. How many pairs of shoes? I mean, I need at least 4, of course.
I'm not a good packer. I'm just objective. I'm gonna forget something every time.
So are you like, if you're a 3-week trip, you're gonna carry on?
I'm gonna pack 30 minutes before I head to the airport.
Yeah.
In a carry-on. I'm gonna stuff it full of whatever I can.
1 shirt, 2 pants.
I can rewear these like 10 times.
I wear this pair of underwear.
I'll forget a belt.
Totally.
I'll forget a dress shirt. I went to a wedding and forgot a belt. I brought a shirt that needed cufflinks.
All good.
No cufflinks. No. I used rubber bands.
Stop.
And a paper clip. Oh, but it was in Minnesota in winter. I brought a bathing suit though. You never know. you never know.
The same thing no matter where you're going on
literally,
the trip.
I was like, you never know
ski trip
when a pool shows up. It was sub-zero.
That is so funny.
So Becca's always
I always bring a safety swimsuit. I never know. Maybe we're jumping in a body of water somewhere.
You never know, and you got to be ready.
If I'm the dude without a swimsuit,
right.
Oh my God.
Imagine what that would do for my rep.
Imagine. I gotta have my
We play this game, Beck and I play this game.
You rip your chest out, your tucks open. You're just in a wetsuit.
That would be sick. No, but Beck and I play this game where she's like, okay, I'm just going to list things out loud.
Okay.
And you just say if you've got them.
Okay.
And I'm like, yay. Sunglasses. Oh shit. No. Okay.
No, I don't have those.
Sunscreen. No. Okay. I don't have those. Boxers. Oh shit, yeah, no. Oh, how many should I bring? I've got 2. We're gonna be there for 9 days. Okay, yeah, for sure. I'll get those.
I do the same with Matt. I'm like, okay, so do you have an outfit for the concert we're going to?
Right.
What concert?
Yeah, what concert?
The one we texted about before, and like the whole group text was talking about like buying tickets for.
My job is just show up at the airport.
I'm just here.
And that's a battle.
That's it.
That's a battle for me.
That's it. So to all the ladies who check bags, I'm with you, I see you, and I love you. Yeah. And I refused to carry on. I carried on once. I was like, you're welcome.
And that's fine. I'll go get the car while you stand at baggage claim.
Completely.
Because I'm an efficiency whore.
Have fun.
Yeah.
I'll be a baggage claim for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Let me know as soon as you see your bag hit the belt.
Yep.
Then I'll make my move.
Run.
Yeah.
Totally.
Get outside or you're done.
So that's our what's good.
That's our what's good.
Let's get into some stats. The Hustle is a newsletter that, as Ross was saying, did a deep dive kind of review on meeting times, ideal meeting times. We're going to use this as kind of our guiding light for the episode. So if you hear a stat, it's not us.
We didn't just make it up. We didn't poll people.
Check out The Hustle. We'll link it in the description of this episode.
Yep.
8 a.m. meeting, 36% said,
hell no, dog. I would never. 41% though said they would give 8 a.m. meetings a pass for urgent matters.
Maybe this is a hot take. I'm afraid to say things these days.
I know.
After our cancellation. I mean, that was dark, but I think there are times when you're meeting with an international team and they are always on, especially for US
Impossible.
based companies, they are always working after hours. Like they are just exhausted. The poor teams in India are like just grinding through the middle of the night to like make calls with us. And I think it's the nice thing to do and the respectful thing to do.
Try to find a common time zone.
Find a common time sometimes to give that back. And I totally get like US based company, you're expected to work US hours, but just as a courtesy, even as friends to the people you're working with, I have found with international teams, I will always try to make it work for them when we have to meet.
I agree with you on the international thing. Like that's just a reality.
Yep.
I do think it's kind of fucked up to set the precedent that there's always 8 a.m. meetings. I think they happen.
Totally.
And like
every day, 8 a.m. meetings. No, like what? That's not the normal work
And I agree.
hours.
Like in the whole cancellation thing, there was the made up piece that this was somehow like a meeting dropped at the last second when it wasn't. It was a scheduled quarterly meeting. Like you may have a scheduled quarterly meeting at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And
You're going to be all right.
work around it. You might have to go to bed a little earlier. You might have to move your workout class. You might have to do things.
Yeah.
That's okay. 4 meetings a year. I can do anything 4 times.
I can do anything 4 times a year.
Right? Like I'll.
Exactly. So 11% said they're fine with them.
Yep.
Morning people. And then somehow 7% said, I guess.
This is such an odd, like they're, if I had a multiple choice quiz and one question was, I'm fine with them. One question was, I guess. How do I know what's greater or less than?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's really hard.
I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
5% of people said they love them though. Some people are morning people.
Those people I don't love.
Are you a morning person? For example, I took a call this morning at 7. There was a virtual assistant who was applying to my company who we wanted to interview, and she was on East Coast hours and she could only do 7. Awesome. I woke up, took the call with her. Great. Like, I feel like we sound preachy sitting, but it's like, we've done it. We do it. Like, I'm happy to meet. If I'm up, like I'm awake. Yeah.
I work out usually at like 6:30. And then I'm done like 7:30. And then I kind of start my day. So I'm a morning person, but are you? You're more of a night owl.
I'm a night owl for sure. I wake up early because I have to a lot, but I do my best work after dark in darkness.
I feel like literally I get the most like thoughtful kind of like ideas and texts from you at like midnight.
Yeah.
Like, hey, thinking about,
I'm sitting crisscross applesauce.
Yeah.
I'm sitting crisscross applesauce under my neon lights.
Totally.
Clouds of weed smoke.
Meanwhile, I'll set boundaries. I literally have texted our Demoted group text. I would like to not work on weekends. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And I'm like, I'll text Natalie. I don't expect a response.
No.
Not right now.
No.
She went to bed at 8.
It's out of working business hours.
She went to bed at 8. Yeah. I mean, so the thing is like my most productive is probably after caffeine in the morning between like 8 and 10. So I guess the question I would ask myself is, would I rather be doing my own work in those moments or would I want to be sharp on a meeting? Because I honestly, late afternoon meetings, absolutely not to me.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Like those are worse to me. Like a late afternoon, 3, 4, like those are worse to me. I would give me the 8 a.m. all day.
I think there is also just like, we're talking specifically about meetings, but there are just some jobs, for example, like programmers and engineers and coders who are just like can code late into the night and then like do sleep until 10 sometimes. And it's totally fine because they're not really on calls.
Right.
And they just do their work when they can do it. They're, measured by the lines of code that they write.
Right. There's deadlines. It's like, get your shit done by the deadline, however you need to do. You could not work for 3 days and then crunch.
For those people, work whenever you want. Like if you're getting your work, right? Like this is strictly for when you have to have meetings. And I'm kind of pro, like, I think a lot of things in the future, in the direction we're going, it doesn't need to be a meeting.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an overuse of meetings.
Right.
For sure,
like,
an overuse of meetings.
In sales, for example, if you're doing a demo, you're with a client, like client-facing things, inner team stuff, sure. Yeah. But these like weekly stand-ups with your team, do we need these? Maybe
not as frequently as they happen. Now there's all this technology that lets you kind of do async things and you can still be...
Yeah, which is great.
And, you can be efficient. I don't know. I think I would rather be doing my own individual, we'll call it IC work, individual contributor work in my most productive times. And I would actually rather have the meetings during my less productive times.
Yeah.
But I still don't want them in the late afternoon.
So personally, you have about a 2-hour window to meet with Ross. I mean,
I'll do it in the morning. That's when most of my meetings are in the morning. They're usually stacked before lunch.
Definitely.
And then like 1 to 2 is kind of like the last times I'll do meetings. Unless there's no other option.
I do meetings actually in the afternoon.
You do?
Yeah. Because... I don't know. I like to use the morning to like film.
Yes. I mean, I think from a creative standpoint, I'm better in the morning.
Be a little more on for that. And then in meetings, I can be like,
you can be a little more tired.
Sorry, what was this about?
Yeah. Yeah. Zoning out.
Hey guys. No, I don't know. It depends.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about when is the best time for meetings. Again, these stats are informed by the Hustle. 70% voted 10 to 12.
Yeah.
Which I agree, but sometimes 11:30 to 12, I'm like, I'm starving.
Yeah. See, I love it because I can't eat. I'm like,
you're IMF.
I'm IMFing and I'm just like, you don't need it.
No.
I'm like, yes, let that body consume itself.
Similarly, the worst time for a meeting by this stat, 0.5% said 4 to 6 p.m.
And I agree with that.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, 4 to 6. Like, dude,
If I'm
checked
jumping
out.
on. So my best friend Victoria and I, she's also a content creator, Victoria Garrick Brown, if you haven't checked her out. Real Pod. She's also a podcast host. Her and I did what we have coined as our annual women's summit, where her and I every quarter basically will just like hop on a couple hour Zoom and chat about our businesses, because like as a content creator, you don't really, I mean, you and I talk, like you don't really have dedicated time to be like, what are you doing to grow? What are you thinking about? Whatever. And so we just kept joking the whole time. Like, so I'll kick off the summit, like grab your goodie bags on the way out. We're just sitting on Zoom, whatever.
Just bidding the whole time.
But she initially made the block for 3.5 hours. And I'm like, Vic, I love you, but like your, Zoom fatigue's a real thing. I don't think you understand what 3.5 hours on Zoom does to a person.
Yeah.
Like whatever. And she's like, no, it's fine. Let's just try. We get to our, 1.5 hour. And she's like, how much longer do we have? I'm like, Vic, I know. It's really.
You could drink during that at that point.
Start drinking.
Just like have a cocktail while you're discussing.
I mean, I don't like to mix business with pleasure.
Yeah.
Like I'm either, ripping it with my friends or
business is so much pleasure for me.
Business is honestly so much pleasure.
So much pleasure.
I think it is.
Big
I love
business
what we do.
pleasure guy.
I love what we do.
Beck and I do our stand-ups in the morning.
I think
over
that's
coffee.
Good.
Or a walk of our dog.
In your kitchen. Yeah.
In our kitchen. Yeah, literally in our kitchen. Or we actually go to WeWorks fair amount. WeWorks and coffee shops.
I'll get a rework when we have to do some real like strategy deep dives.
Like I frankly love being at the WeWorks just because there's other people doing business stuff. There's just like people, there's energy, there's like shit happening.
I think working from home is also like, it gets so just monotonous and tiring almost. Like I'm so tired in my space sometimes that I'm like, I need to see light and get out and go see people. Like
it's so hard to be creative.
And I'm just sitting looking at myself in my camera like,
troll alert.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm really depressed.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, obviously no one's mandating me go to WeWork. So when I go, it's totally on my own volition. It's not like, totally. I'm like, you got to be here 4 days a week. I don't know. We probably go once a week.
And I understand if a boss was telling us we had to be in 4 days a week, we'd probably be complaining.
Yeah. I mean, and the other caveat, I was like, we're working on our own shit. So it's like input and output are like equal for us.
Yeah.
It's not like we're making, the whole adage, well, I'm making some billionaire even richer by just working here.
Which,
like,
I understand. Complain about that. That sucks.
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm ready to complain about that all day long.
I can't stop complaining. Speaking of complaining, can we set 5 tips for setting boundaries? Can we give the listeners like our kind of personal tips on? Because I do think there's a flip side of this of, okay, show up when you can, maybe whatever, but like, I do think you have to set boundaries as an employee or you'll just be
now more than ever
abused. Yeah.
Now more than ever, because there isn't just like the defined, I hate to say it, the like 9 to 5 isn't real anymore because everyone's remote. It's kind of like get your shit done over the 24-hour period of time.
Yes.
You need to establish boundaries. Otherwise, your job will become actually 24 hours.
Exactly. So we thought of some tips. I'll kick it off.
Yep.
So when you don't want to do something and you want to set a boundary for yourself, for example, like I can't make that 8 a.m. meeting for any reason, try to make up for it in other ways. And instead of just a no and a hard no, say like, for example, here are 3 things I'd like you guys to chat about in the meeting that I'm going to bring to it and give it to your manager or someone who's going to be there. I can actually read the meeting notes, the rough meeting notes, and I can format them and send them out to everyone.
Yep.
I can watch the recording at 9 and I'll send some follow-ups after.
Bring some async value.
Bring like just a little bit of value and a little bit of like, here's what I can do. Right. And I think that just goes such a long way. It's not just like, no.
Yeah.
Hard always no, hard no.
Yep.
It's actually, I'm bringing value in other ways.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one I put on here was just learn to say no in the first place.
Yeah.
I think everyone just wants to please and everyone wants to feel like they're, contributing. I actually think there's more power in saying no. And people are like, oh shit, cool. Yeah. When you say no, you're establishing that it's a possibility. You're not always going to say no. And I think the other piece of saying no is like bringing, if you really want to go one step further, is saying why that would affect your job, the project, the company in a negative way. It's like, look, I don't have the bandwidth, so I could do this, but it's not going to be up to the standard that we would want. Yeah. I don't have the resources. I don't have the time. Like if we're able to, you can offer an alternative.
Yeah.
I need more resources. I need to hire someone.
I just need 3 more days.
Or I need to lose another project.
Time.
Like take this other project off my plate. I was talking to my cousin's wife this weekend in Tahoe, and she is she runs partnerships for a large payments company, and she's managing 6 different projects. And then someone internally will be like, hey, what would it take to bring on like another project? Can you do the analysis? And it's just like the honest.
She's like, what would it take? Is probably another person.
Literally another human.
Yeah.
Or how about I drop 2 of these other ones to be able to like build this entire one?
I agree. So stating, it's not just a no, but it's like, I just don't think that'll meet the quality standards that you're looking for in the time that you set. So
right. And people also have to realize like the cost of losing someone. People are like, no, I don't want to say no because they might fire me. No, they're not. No. Do you know how hard it is to hire someone else? At the time and cost.
If they fire you for saying no, you have a case. You literally
you don't even want to be there anyway.
Case.
You don't even want to be there anyway.
And like you'll get some money for that, right? Like, come on.
I don't know if you'll get money for it. Depends on what you're saying no to.
You take it to the courts.
Yeah, exactly. Threaten to sue. See what happens. I would not recommend that.
No, but they can't fire you for saying no a couple times, right? Like.
Yeah, well, just like, again, just by establishing that no is an option, nobody's surprised by it. I think maybe the first time, a lot of people who are newer in their job, they don't want to say no. And I think actually saying it earlier in your job is good.
Yeah.
Because I think people respect that
more.
No
is a sentence.
Yeah, people just objectively respect that more. It works in sales. Hey, can your product do this thing? No, it actually can't. People are like, oh, damn.
Not overpromise.
Yeah, people are like, oh, cool. And they move on. Everyone thinks no is like the end, like some sort of negative thing. It's just not.
Oh, no, they're not going to buy it.
Yeah.
No, it's totally fine. Another tip, stay vague. I think we have a tendency, and we, like myself included, Gen Z overshare. Like, I love just giving people the reason as to why, but you don't owe your coworkers and colleagues and your boss like everything you're doing in your personal life and on your own time outside of work. Mm-hmm. And you also don't want to invite judgment as to like what you're doing and why you're missing.
Right.
Like, and so while a workout class or something could be important to you, and like I totally understand that is important, like maybe you don't want to share that to your boss because they could judge you. So I just think stay vague, just be like, oh, I can't make it. Yeah. And just stop the sentence.
I was working on this with Becca.
I'm so like, can't make it, have to go to a doctor's appointment, but it's also super important. They're taking blood and I might be a little blah, blah, blah. Hang on, just can't make it.
Yeah.
You're good. You don't owe them an explanation. No one's going to ask you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like, Becca was like, well, what should I tell them if that you can't make it? Like, why should I tell them? I was like, you don't tell them. You say, unfortunately, like, Ross can't make this time. Here's another time.
Exactly. I love that.
What are they going to do? Like, you can't make it.
Totally.
Doesn't matter. The other one I was going to say is don't be too available. And this goes again with being able to say no. It's like if you set the precedent that you can just keep on taking on work, they're going to keep handing it to you. And guess what? You're not getting paid more.
You can't.
You're not getting paid more.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that's just people want to be yes people. And that's just a handoff or a piece of.
I agree.
No.
One tangent to the availability thing. Also voice when you're available. So you're not always the no person, but you're voicing like, hey, I actually have a slow week. I can take on another project if you have anything for me.
Yeah.
And you're like, people above you will remember that as like, oh, like she, came forward and said she had time. Like she's a yes woman. And then you're not branded as like the no person.
Right. But then you hit them with a no later on. They're like, oh, because she actually can't.
Yeah. And she can't.
She could when she could.
Very open about when she can. Yeah, exactly.
And there's a piece of consistency too. It's like in the world of Slack and Teams, in the async stuff, people message you after whatever you're done working, don't respond. I think so many people feel the pull. It's like, oh, I got this message at 8:30 p.m. And like, I'm a guy who works at night, so I will respond to them, but I don't do it with the expectation that someone's going to get on there and respond until the next day business hours.
Yeah.
If they're on, great. If not, but like, you can just draw a hard line with yourself. I'm not responding to Slack or email after 8 p.m.
Yeah. Tom Holland said a quote, and this is like different context, but he was like, if you have a problem with me, text me or call me. And if you don't have my number, you're not allowed to have a problem with me. Yeah. That totally different context. But I'm saying like, if it's urgent, they will call you.
Yeah.
Like an email is not urgent, right? That you get at 8:30 p.m. An email is not an invitation.
Nobody's dying
to get up out of bed and respond, right? Yep. If something's really urgent, they'll call you.
So those are our tips to set boundaries. If you have any more, feel free to leave them in the comments. We're always down to learn a little bit more.
This conversation about setting boundaries, and it's kind of heavy.
It is heavy.
Right? And being open and honest with your coworkers, it's a lot.
It's a lot to be that honest, which is why I only eat honest ingredients.
Speaking of honesty, honest ingredients, 100% non-GMO, project verified.
No sugar, no gluten for all my anti-gluten folks out there who are intolerant of it.
One of our Demoted sponsors is, of course, Chomp's beef sticks.
Honest ingredients only, baby. No sugar, no fillers, no MSG.
If you haven't been around in a Motorhead for a while, if you haven't seen the cancellation, if you haven't seen all these eras of Demoted, we started our Chomp sponsorship with a desperate plea for them to sponsor us. We were not sponsored at that time. We were ripping a beef stick in the beginning. You were hearing us chew, just like you are now.
Yep. So this one's actually venison. 10 grams of protein, 100 calories, and no artificial preservatives, no hormones, no antibiotics. Just good quality.
Just meat in a stick form. It's good.
The best in the biz.
It's the best in the biz. It gets it done. Oh, I'm feeling a little low on energy. A little protein.
You're getting the jalapeno one right now, it looks like.
I wasn't ready for it. I took a bite.
I ran out of those so fast.
You love spicy.
I love spicy.
You do.
I really do.
We have to like dig through our closets to find these before we record because we eat them so frequently that they're all gone. And so Chomps, I guess if you're listening, can you send us some more of these?
Please send us some more because the rainbow is now gone in my pantry of all the flavors.
We need them.
Yeah. And if you're trying to get into the variety pack, if you're trying to get that venison, you're trying to get that jalapeno, chomps.com/demoted. Go find you some beef sticks.
Thank you, Chomps. We love you.
Thank you, Chomps.
Now back to our regular scheduled programming. What motivates you at work, Ross?
There's two things. One is I like to make money so I can afford food and not die.
Okay.
That's one.
Okay.
The other one is the intrinsic feeling of purpose.
Really?
Yes. And people. I think before I was doing my own thing, it was very much the people. I wasn't fired up about selling job ads at Glassdoor.
But you loved your team.
I love my team, and a lot of them are some of my best friends still. And it was fun to go to work. Did I love selling, employer branding stuff? No, I didn't. But I genuinely loved the people, and we all felt like we were building something and working towards something greater. We just did a whole Glassdoor reunion, like basically a 10-year reunion.
Yeah, you told me
at the bar we all went to, and we just tapped right back into how it was.
Really?
It was such a weird, because it truly was such a glory days period of like tech.
Yeah.
And like the world was good. This is 2016.
How do they view you now? Like same, obviously, but like obviously this added edge of like, hey guys, I kind of made it. I'm out of the cycle.
I mean, I was doing it there with them at the time. I think there are people who were there there's the weird people get starstruck by us, which still blows my mind. I'm like, raise the bar.
We're so not cool.
Please raise the bar.
I promise you, be prepared to be disappointed.
But I will say, not a single one of them is starstruck by me.
Good.
They're just like, oh yeah, you do the corporate bro thing still, huh? How's that going?
Are you still doing that stupid little Instagram thing?
Well, yeah, a little bit.
A little bit here and
Time
there.
to time.
It's only my full-time thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
What motivates you?
I do think that early in my career as well, and through corporate Natalie, I'm very motivated by money and being successful and having a stable, successful life. I think I have this really deep-seated fear of not having enough money to afford a life and struggling for money and like having fights about finances with like my partner or my family. And like, I don't know where that comes from. It's just a big fear. Like you read the stat, like money is the biggest cause of divorce, whatever, all these things. And I think I just always have in the front of my mind, I want to be successful. I joke about being like a hustler since day one with my lemonade stands. I've just always been like, excited about making money.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's not the only thing that motivates me, of course. Like I think for me with corporate Natalie, it's having that sense of fulfillment and purpose, like you're saying, but I do feel very fulfilled at the end of my days. I feel happy with what I'm doing. I love meeting people and doing our speaking engagements and like seeing people who just love what we do is really like special. And I think not a lot of jobs offer that. And I feel really blessed and excited that I get to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I get fired up being around people who love what they do. Or who also feel purpose. Like they don't need to be wanting to do acting or content or whatever they're doing. When they're fired up by it, it fires me up.
I know.
I want to be around it.
I was talking to one of my friends about like how you are the sum of the people you associate with. And like, I love being with entrepreneurs and just like creative people and excited people and like hardworking people who not love to work because that's bad to say, but I think for me that is important. Like,
I don't think it's bad to say.
Like I do like people that love their job. And I think I have a lot of friends and people who are just like in this kind of purgatory of I just do what I do and it's, 40 hours a week and whatever, which is fine.
That's more common than not.
That's really common. And sometimes it just like pays the bills and that's great.
Yep.
But I think the people that are like inspired by their job in some way, or like we did this really cool event. This was exciting to me. Like just it's more exciting for me to talk to them. Like honestly, and you
can feel it,
and it's less negative. Yeah. Like it's like, oh my God, you are you're excited about it. And it could be your like banking job, whatever you do, and you're just excited about something that you've done. That's just more like honestly attractive and like positive. And I want to be in your circle. I want to be around you.
Totally. And so I'll bring it back to the stat. The number one reason people said was money, 32%.
Yep.
Which makes sense. Like, I think, there's like live to work to live like situation. There's plenty of people who, work to live and then they do what they want to be, what they're passionate about on the side. And like they can still do both. I think it's so hard and we're so fortunate to do work with our passion and like combine the two things.
And I'm not going to sit here and say you have to find passion and like
you don't in work. You don't
at all. But being passionate about something, whether it's your side hustle or something outside of it, is important just in life. Yeah. But 18.9% of people said what motivates them is remote work and flexibility.
Or, everybody's got their different priorities. I've like, I go back to purpose for me. I've always felt like I've had so many advantages in my life. It would be irresponsible and in a lot of ways offensive if I don't try to achieve as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because there's millions of people who would trade places with me in a second and want to work really hard and use all the things that they've been afforded.
I do feel that way. I think you and I both have this like constant need to like do the next thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And
do you think you'll ever retire?
Like, no.
What would I do? I mean, I would golf a little more. I'd never retire.
About that. I know. Matt and I talk about that. I'm like, I would love to slow down and just be like with my kids and whatever. And then I'm like, would I really?
For a week.
Yeah, for a week.
That'd be fun for a week.
And then what? I know.
And then you'd be like, okay, what's the next thing to strive for? I think so much of what motivates people is a sense of purpose, is a sense of growth. I think that's just inherently human. So people who work for good bosses, like that's why they stay. Yeah. Because they feel like that person is invested in their growth, in their, whether it's their career, which ultimately leads to more money or more responsibility, or feeling like you just have more of a positive effect on the world.
Which is why Annie's working for me until she's 87, right, Annie?
She's left. Gone. She just quit.
So she actually just quit.
So apply now at contact@demoted.
Okay, perfect. I'm hiring. I'm so excited. Yeah, and I do think, remote work and flexibility, if that's your number one priority, great, because a lot of people like to travel. I think I'm entering into a big travel phase of my life, and I can't imagine entering into this like wedding season and engagements. We talked about it last episode, but like with having a job where I had to be in the office on Fridays, like, oh my God, I would miss so much.
Yeah.
And so like, I get that.
Well, it's like the remote work and flexibility piece to me says these are the people who are, working to live, and they want to be able to live in between, to actually have the autonomy and flexibility to live.
Yeah.
And that's like the hard part with some of these roles.
I think working to live is great. And it's like embarrassing that I think I like live to work at times.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm definitely in the live to work side.
You go to like Europe or Australia or these other places and they're just like, I log off at 5 and I'm done.
It's illegal to contact me on the weekend.
No, literally.
Like, it is.
And they're just like living the best life. And I'm like, why can't I be like that a little bit more? But
the other big one here, 24.1. So I guess this is technically the second one. It said, quote, something else such as autonomy, stability, equity, and career growth. And I guess that goes back to just growth and autonomy and feeling like you're making choices and building your own purpose and helping something somewhere grow.
Yeah.
Like teamwork is such a huge thing for me. And that's the worst part about my job. But now. And it's like, that's why I love hanging out with you and Becca and Annie. Like that's when the best energy happens, even when we're in the car ride.
Yeah.
Like us times. Becca and I just sitting in opposite offices. It's like me talking to myself and it just doesn't hit the same.
Doesn't hit. I know. I guess with all these, this boundary setting, but you still want to hit your targets, you still want to make money. Like, how do we motivate our employees?
I think we should give some tips on the best ways to motivate employees.
I agree.
First of all, install treadmill desks that power the entire company. So if you stop working, the lights go out.
Yeah, totally. It's like those bikes, you're just grinding.
Just stay grinding. Yeah. Plus it's caloric burn. Who doesn't want that?
We're in tech, we're in Silicon Valley. Equity is a huge thing. I think instead of equity, offer company loyalty points.
Love that.
As a form of compensation that are redeemable for company branded merch.
Oh my goodness. Bella Canvas XLs.
Bella Canvas XLs, baby.
Give me that shit.
You are walking home with some swag.
Oh God, that gets me in the office.
Tote bag, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Implement a wheel of misfortune for menial and tedious tasks.
Wheel of misfortune.
Spin the wheel of misfortune. See who's got to do the reports.
Who's cleaning up the bathroom. For every $1 billion of revenue that your company earns, you get one pizza party.
It makes sense. Just cheese pizza, no ranch.
Totally. And people love, what gets me up in the morning? A pizza party.
Got to be a pizza party.
You know what's crazy though? I just ordered pizzas with my roommates. Like, I feel like it's just not something that we treat ourselves to. We're always cooking or just doing something. Best night of my life.
I had pizza this week.
Ordering pizza is amazing. I'm sorry. The pizza party bit is obviously talked about and the
I
joke,
love pizza.
But I love pizza.
I love pizza. Replace all desk chairs with mechanical bowls for core strength and focus. Just imagine trying to send an email and you're just getting thrashed.
I mean, I'm picturing myself on the mechanical bull at Westwood, which, yes, to all my SF girlies out there, I have ridden, and it's miserable. Just getting
low key rocked. But if you have good hip flexibility,
how embarrassing is it just getting thrown off a bull?
It's not great.
In my case, when you just like dribble down the side,
you just slowly slide,
lose, and then you're holding the side, and then you just get whipped off.
The last 3 seconds of you clutching for your life is the most humiliating part.
So embarrassing. I mean, I need at least 6 drinks before doing that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do our like a corporate happy hour. Westwood.
Get the bowl going.
Get the bowl going for people.
Yeah. Make everyone wear shock collars. If they leave their desk for more than 10 minutes, it starts going off.
Yep. Better finish up that poo-poo, Sandra. Get back to your desk.
So scary. So scary.
Just enough to hurt, but like definitely non-lethal.
No.
But just enough that it hurts a lot.
It hurts a lot. You're like, oh my God.
You are running back to your desk.
I got to get back
because that shit hurts. Okay. Install ejector seats for employees who haven't reached their weekly quotas.
Okay.
So if they don't hit,
just eject into the ceiling.
I've just got a button and I just see ya.
Sorry, Brendan didn't hit his quota.
Yeah. Brendan just got sent through the roof.
Maybe we'll find him.
Slowly disappears into the distance. There goes Brendan.
Make your employees start every meeting with a fun fact. No repeats. So they have to make like about 365 a year.
That's my actual nightmare.
I have nothing fun about. I feel like I live a very fun, fulfilling, exciting life.
Not a single fact though.
I couldn't think of a fun fact if I tried.
No. Every time I think of one, I'm like, okay, I hate me.
It's like your what's good.
Yeah, it's like my what's good. We need a brainstorm session.
Such a fulfilling life. We need a brainstorm session to talk about what you did.
I need everybody in my life to tell me what I did. One thing,
yeah.
One singular thing.
So sad.
So that's nightmare and definitely how you should not motivate your employees.
Probably better ways to motivate your employees, such as the aforementioned stats
or
of money or work-life balance.
Yeah, you could do that.
But you never know.
Let's do promoted, demoted.
Yeah, P or D.
P or D, promo or demo.
P or D, promoted or demoted. 15-minute meetings.
Promoted.
Love, obsessed.
Short and sweet, efficiency.
Clean your hands.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you back the gift of time.
It's hard to even make a calendar invite for 15 minutes, so you basically make it for 30. I know you can do it, okay? But you make it for 30, it's only 15, get out of there.
I love the pleasantry that we start every meeting with. We're going to keep this short, so, whatever. 35 minutes later.
It was not short.
Do you have a 5 minutes extra to stay on the line?
Hey, I just want to say, is everybody good here if we go like a couple minutes longer? I just have like 1 or 2 more things.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm good.
Actually,
click, gone.
Actually, I'm gone.
Didn't even respond.
I disappeared. Sorry.
Didn't even respond. Okay, promoted, demoted, spiffs. And for those who don't know what a spiff is, it's basically an internal competition. Usually in sales, it'll be like, whoever makes the most calls wins this. Whoever closes the most deals over the next 2 weeks wins that. Things like little mini things.
So I've never worked in sales. That would terrify me, being like pitted against a peer, and like the clear winner is obviously just better at their job, and your boss like
it's
looking
awful.
at you. Like I would cry if I didn't win.
The way you do it is like, I don't even care. I'm just going to keep doing my job. Like whatever, like whether if I win, great. If I don't,
here's the good part about it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm not motivated.
I love you, man, I love you.
Yeah. I'm just not motivated by this.
Let's hit the phones.
I mean, like back in the day in the old school sales days, Spiffs would be like a car. It would be fucking sick. Now it's like iTunes gift card, $25.
Oh, Spiffs would be a car to sit for 2 hours and make calls, and whoever
it wouldn't be.
It would
be a longer term one. It would be like whoever, like if a company released a new product, they'd be like whoever sells the most product here over the next like quarter wins a car.
Wow.
Like real motivational shit.
I want a car.
They don't do that anymore. They don't make them like they used to.
Promoted or demoted async meetings.
Promoted.
And define async meetings for people in the back.
So it's basically almost like a living document where people will come in and out, and it'll be like, here's the topic. Can everybody hit this document at some point during today? Leave your comments, leave your thoughts.
Yep. I love that. I'll come in when I'm ready. I'll give my thoughts. I will leave.
Yeah.
You don't know how to write, so are those kind of hard for you?
They're extremely hard for me.
Yeah.
They're all voice memos.
Totally.
It's me just rambling for 30 minutes.
When Ross and I sit down with our outline, like you'll see here, we have like written stuff. Like we'll have lines.
I have a couple circles.
Ross has 2 circles. Like he doesn't write, and then we'll get to the end of it. I'm like, so what'd you write down?
I mean, you can't even read this.
He's literally like,
I can't even read this.
We're an hour into the meeting. Oh, where's a pen? Where's a pen? I've written a full diary.
First of all, I have dysgraphia.
I'm done with you.
Which is, I struggle to write.
Lefty ass bitch.
I know. I was taught to write right-handed. It should have been left-handed. Anyway, promoted, demoted, all you can eat buffets.
Did you just think of that?
No, that's on here. Talon just hitting us with, he must have gone to one recently.
Totally. Let's get it. Let's get this bread. My favorite thing on earth is at a nice hotel
Oh yeah.
The breakfast buffet.
Gorgeous buffet.
Oh my God. The omelet bar.
Hit me every time.
And while you're making my omelet, I'm actually grab some pancakes. I'm
Yeah.
grab a little bowl with oatmeal.
I'm shoveling oatmeal while I'm watching the guy make it. I'm like, you're doing a great job.
Oatmeal, brown sugar.
Actually, can I get
peanut butter.
chorizo in that?
No, literally.
Omelet bar hits.
Oh my God. And that is just my heaven. I'll go back and forth a million times. Buffet, it costs about $55.
Yeah,
to
done.
just, to just do it. I don't care.
I'm gonna eat 40. I'm gonna eat like $50. I'm gonna
eat $150 worth. So
I'm gonna eat $150 worth.
So absolutely,
exactly.
yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna eat $40 worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Why make billions when you can make millions? Yeah, no. The downside though is like a shady looking buffet is disturbing.
Sometimes
I watched a little kid pick his nose and reach for something and put it back. Like I watched a guy cough on cottage cheese.
What buffet are you talking about?
I'm not going to name it because I really want them to sponsor me at some point.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay.
They won't.
Don't name it.
They won't.
Don't name it.
It was very disturbing, but the nice buffets.
All you can eat buffets, promoted. Promoter, demoted, last one, group running or biking. And I'm going to give like a little disclaimer of GSB, Stanford Business School, where they have these WhatsApp groups where everyone is like constantly asking to do activities that should be done alone in a group.
Yep.
Because they're constantly networking. So like, hey, about to hit the gym. Anyone want to come? No, go to the gym alone.
Yeah, go to the gym. You're going to wear headphones anyway, aren't you?
Hey, going on a run. Should we start a runners group? Actually starting a new WhatsApp for a runners group.
Yeah. I have 1,000 WhatsApp groups for Stanford still.
So tiring.
And they're still active.
I'm not even in them. I don't go to Stanford. It's just Matt. But I'm like, oh my God.
I hate that. So I'm going to demote it.
I'm demoting group anything unless I'm going to a workout class with my bestie. That was P or D.
P or D.
Promoter, demoted.
Thank you.
Your favorite segment. We're going to end with a little D or D.
Little
dear demoted for those of you who are still with us.
Double D. I did double D.
And Ross, I'll let you read it because I, can't do that.
Hi, Ross and Natalie. Your podcast has been a game changer for my morning commute. Less than a year ago, I faced a restructuring that felt more like a personal vendetta from my performance manager. This individual seemed determined to make my work environment uncomfortable, block promotion, denied pay raise, altered my responsibilities, then burdened me with admin tasks. Recently, I've taken a position with a direct competitor, and I'm eyeing my old team for potential recruits. The desire for a vengeful comeback is strong, but I also recognize the importance of taking the high road. Note, I do not have a talent poaching clause in my previous employment contract. I'd greatly value both of your insights on how to navigate this delicate situation. What's the move here? Should I pursue a vengeful corporate comeback or let my bitterness go? Let my bitterness go.
One thing about me, thank you for the song.
Yep.
I'm never going to let anything go. Okay. I'm like Taylor Swift writing about a love story from when she was 14. Like I'm still going to remember it. I'm still going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I love bitterness. I think bitterness is the fuel that kind of guides us, right?
Petty king, petty queen over here.
I mean, we will, like Ross.
I remember shit people said to me so long ago, and I live my life like I'm gonna do something.
I will prove to Brian that I've made it. I have a volleyball coach who told me you'd never be a good setter. Like ruined my life. Told my parents, your daughter.
You've been
sucks.
setting so much since then.
Like I've been, and since I'm now training for the Olympics. No,
you and Sabrina Carpenter.
I am so excited that I am announcing I will be playing beach volleyball in the Olympics. No, but I'm like I need to prove to Matt, my coach. And not my boyfriend, my coach when I was 15 that I've made it. So I love bitterness. I do. What do you think with this experience here?
I don't think there's anything wrong with poaching some old people. I really don't.
I don't either, especially if there's not a clause. I think like take the good people with you. Like the moves that I see in companies are like the ones that kind of you take your straw. I went with my mentor and coach to College Networks.
I left too. Left Oracle with my
I'm like,
boss.
I'll follow you anywhere. I'll follow you into the night. Like let's, ride on.
Take me into the fires of Mordor. I don't give a shit.
Totally.
Again, people work for people. The company you owe no loyalty to the company. There's a reason they got rid of like the anti-compete shit here. In this last year or so forth, that people don't want to go, they won't go.
Yeah, once you get a little posse of people, stay with them. Just
that is the thing.
Ship.
Like
totally.
so many like great sales organizations are started because they hire a big name person who's like, I'm bringing my crew, and they're like, please bring your crew because we know your crew is good and they've done it before. And
come
like
with a +4.
Yeah, come fuck shit up here for us and
totally.
bring the whole squad.
I love that. I think that's
so do
I promote it.
I'm going to promote it too and say it's absolutely okay. I mean, you don't have to maybe reframe it. It doesn't have to be like a vendetta. It's like you want to do a good job at your competitor. You know some good people and bring them over and do a good job. Like
don't bring over people to like, hurt their resources for some reason you don't even like the people. Like if you like them and you want to work with them, bring them over.
Yeah, just don't do it to hurt them. Do it to make your company better because that's why they hired you.
I completely agree.
So bring them over. I say bring them.
Let's wind it down. I know you're sad to hear us go and you've had such a lovely time with us.
Yeah. What do you say we read a review?
I love it. This one's from Lucy Sky, 5 stars. So entertaining. Thank you, Luce. This podcast has quickly become a favorite. Natalie and Ross are hilarious. I literally laugh out loud by myself on the reg. Also some informative, helpful insights. Natalie and Ross, your tens of listeners, love you.
Oh, and we love our tens of listeners.
We love you guys. Thank you, Lucy Sky.
Fire me up.
If you want to be like Lucy Sky or Absolute Girl, leave us a review. We'd love a 5-star review.
We do. We love them. It fires us up. It lets us know that our tens of listeners are out there and you can hear your name. You don't have to use a fake name. You can use a full ass name.
Totally, if you want. I mean, I don't want to promote that too hard.
You could do something silly.
You could do something crazy.
PP69, and we will read it. If it's a good review, we'll read it.
We'll read it and laugh.
We'll laugh.
As always, smash that subscribe button.
Please take that like button and just physically assault it.
Shoot a firework at that subscribe button. was my favorite line of Ross's.
I'm going to go write a bunch of horrible things about subscribe buttons. But you guys should do all those things, whether it is Spotify, whether it is Apple, whether it is YouTube, or anywhere else you find podcasts. I mean, just smash it.
My favorite thing is when you're like, we are live on iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
I'm like, awesome. Who listens to podcasts there?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but we're live on there.
We're live on there.
Leave us a voice memo if you haven't. You have a salacious little corporate confesh. We do have that option. We could put a monster voice on it.
Yeah, we can.
We could warp it.
Go monster mode for you. Just don't ramble on for more than 60 seconds, or we will just simply ignore you.
We'll have to cut it and ignore you. And
Probably talk shit about you.
As always, tune in next week on
Demoted.